Here,
Definitely.
Verdure is just me. I am the design team.
Thank you so much for being here. I'm kind of gonna informally call this my first episode of this series, kind of talking to incredible watchmakers like yourself. I'm just excited to get the moment to talk to you. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah, no problem.
Cool. So I have a few questions prepared, but really I just kind of wanted to talk to you and just get more information about Verdure and, you know, your watchmaking journey, you know.
Sure.
Yeah, 100%. So, because I did a little bit of research on your website and I read that you guys were founded in 2012, correct?
Correct.
Correct, correct.
Founded in 2012,
Yep.
and then it took me a little while to find a manufacturer.
Sure.
I guess roughly 2 years, maybe a little bit more than that. And then in 2015
Mm-hmm.
is when I came out with my first line, the Premier Collection.
Got it. Got it. So it took you about 3 years to develop and go through that initial process of getting that out there.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, I
the
understand. I
process.
mean, it's a long process.
Yeah, yeah. So I guess initially, so once I found the manufacturer, I'm like, okay, cool, cool. So then I started brainstorming on what my first line would be, like the design and everything like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, I kind of just wanted to test the waters, right? Just to see where I'm at, what my idea would be,
Of
how it would,
course.
I guess, when you make something and you have an idea and then you finally see it come to life and you're holding it, it's like a crazy feeling. It's
Yes.
ridiculous.
Yes.
So,
Yeah,
you know what I
100%.
mean?
100%. I mean, as you're saying that, it's kind of like making me think about this whole journey that I've been going on because like I've been into watches for years, thinking about making the content, like even mentally wrapping my head around that was like difficult, you know what I'm saying? And now I'm doing it. All of a sudden I have
Yeah,
a watch on my wrist. I'm reaching out to brands. I'm reaching out to you. I'm just doing it and it's crazy and it feels really surreal. So I imagine that first few years was like no way. As soon as you get that prototype in your hands and it becomes real, oh shit, I'm
yeah,
invested in this. We're really doing this, you know?
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
100%.
And yeah, so once that happened, I'm like, wow, man, this is cool.
Yeah.
And then people started to kind of take to it and liked it. And I
Hmm.
had my first purchases. I'm like, oh my goodness, so I'm really
Yeah.
in business now. Like
Yep.
it's a real
You
thing
start
now.
seeing the
And
Shopify
then,
notifications and it's like, wait a minute, I gotta fulfill these
oh yeah,
orders. Yeah.
oh yeah, oh
Yeah.
yeah.
That's crazy.
And
That's crazy.
then it was just like, all right, so we're here. So then I started, I'm just the type to, start going on to the next project now. Okay, we got the
Yep.
first project down. Let's start on the next thing.
I
Let's not slow
understand.
down. Let's keep it moving.
Hmm.
And then I came out with my sophomore collection a few
Yep.
years after that. But it took a little bit of time for me to actually sit down and get all of my thoughts that I had collectively and just put it down on
Yeah.
paper and then kept on moving.
Most
Yeah.
definitely. When you say your first collection, how many watches did you put out in your first collection? Because I know that's
So,
also part of the complexity of it with case designs and movements and making
right.
sure everything lines up and works, right?
Right, yeah, exactly. What I do is I have four different colors of the same design.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I just called, I was like, that's a collection now.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
yeah,
We got a
yeah,
collection going here.
100%. I
So
mean,
yeah,
that's a good way of doing it. I follow.
yeah.
Okay. And then for your second collection, would you say that you tried to do something different, tried to build on what you'd already built, a little bit of both?
So, okay, yeah. So I would say I built a tad bit on what I already had in terms
Mm-hmm.
of the styling of the buckles and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But the design was totally different. So the first
Yeah, because
collection
I noticed
was I
there's
used,
definitely some differences, right? For
yeah,
sure, you can tell the
right.
style is consistent, but it's a different. There's different
Different looking
design
style.
elements, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure, for sure.
yeah. And so the first one I used the quartz.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, you know what, man? I want to get really into this world, right? I want to really do it.
Make a watch for
Do it.
watch lovers. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I get it.
And then I started, I wanted a skeleton. I think, my inspiration
Mm-hmm.
really, a lot of it comes from my dad.
Okay.
He's a big time collector. I'm saying like
Oh, I was kind of wondering where
70,
the
80.
watch inspiration came from, so that definitely
Yeah. Yeah.
connects some
Him and my
dots.
grandfather are huge collectors.
Got it.
And
Got it.
so
Got it.
that's really where I came from. And he had a skeleton. He was always big on skeletons. So
I
I'm like,
see. I see.
All right, let
And
me
that's
try.
the thing. Like my dad would wear watches too, and I never even really knew my grandpa was a big collector until I went down and visited recently, and he was like, "Oh, go grab a shirt from my dresser," and I look on his dresser, and it's just full of watches, and I'm like, "Wait a minute, I see the connection here." Like in my mind, I'm like, "Oh, that's where this love of seeing something on your wrist comes from." Because my dad always had this Tag Heuer that he got from work, and I'm like, "Wait a minute, that's a
Yeah,
cool watch. I like that watch," and I always admired him wearing that watch, even though it was subconscious.
right.
You know, it's like, oh, you grow up seeing these things, and that's
Yeah,
cool. I want to do something like that, and I never even really knew it. So it's cool that you were able to draw that connection at such an early age and start building on it.
yeah,
So is this what you do full time, doing watches, like just
yeah.
getting it popping?
Yep, full
That's
time, full
amazing.
time. And you know, it's so funny, man. I just really it just turned full time in June.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, you know,
That's
so
awesome.
like, you know, I saw my daughter there. So
Mm-hmm.
I got my wife, 4 kids all together,
Holy cow,
and
it's a lot to
we
take care
had,
of.
yeah, thank you. We had moved a significant distance away from where we're
Mm-hmm.
from
Mm-hmm.
recently, but I was still working where we're from. And
Got
I
it.
was taking that commute daily, and it was
I
starting to
follow.
wear on me a little bit. And
Is
you
it
know,
was a
my
big
daughter's
New York
like,
Jersey thing or?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. Big travel. I can't imagine.
big travel.
I've always hear that it's like, oh, everybody does it. Everybody does it, and I'm like,
Everybody does it, but I'm just like,
everybody does it.
how?
Yeah, but it's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And then just hearing my daughter like, Daddy, I don't want you to go to work, and it was just like, shoot, I just hated hearing it, man.
yeah.
So,
100%.
you
Well, I mean, you're
know,
blessed to now
yeah,
be able to do what you do, and
yeah,
that's so cool. Give me one second. My cat is actually opening the bathroom door. It's crazy. It's insane. One second. It's a whole thing. Let's get back to watches though, because that's what we're here to talk about. So you're doing this full time as of really recently, which is super awesome.
yeah,
How
yeah,
many
yeah.
watch shows have you made it out to? Like, is it you guys have been doing the watch show thing, right?
This is my first summer, you can say, going
Oh,
to
that's
watch shows
crazy.
since I've been doing this.
It didn't.
Yeah, like so.
You don't come across like there was confidence at the booth.
You know
It
what?
was you were ready to do it, and that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I'm just, this is a passion of mine. You know, I'm really confident. You know, these are God-given gifts that I have to do what I do. So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you know, I know that. So I'm like, okay, you know, there's no reason to be.
One
You know,
hundred
obviously
percent.
nerves are a thing. Nerves are always a part of
Yeah,
the
yeah,
equation, but. So I played basketball for a long time, played
yeah. Mm-hmm.
basketball in college and everything like that.
Oh,
And
awesome.
there was always like a sense of butterflies
Yeah.
before tip off.
Yes.
But then once tip off happens, it's like, well, we in here
You're in
now,
it. Yeah.
so let's,
Exactly.
let's just do it.
Exactly.
You know, so that's kind
Exactly.
of my approach.
I think that's a
You know,
good approach to
doing these
doing
shows.
it. You got to throw yourself into it a little bit, and I think
Yeah.
even for I mean for me, meeting you, that was my second watch show. Yeah,
Wow.
so I'm like, I'm just getting out there. You know what I'm saying? And I speaking to people, I feel like is something that I, for whatever reason, was told, hey, go and do this. So I'm just happy to connect. You know what I'm saying? Because that if that's my gift, and I can go to these shows and connect with people like you, that's 50% of the job. That's for me. That's the easy part, and I love doing it. So I'm so glad I was able to get this working. You would not believe how, in my head, I'm like, this better look the way I think it's going to look. Other questions about watches. So, your sophomore collection. What did you do differently in your sophomore collection that you feel like made it stand out from, besides the mechanical element and the skeletonized element of your second collection?
Yeah, so I wanted to get a little bit more detailed, I
Mm-hmm.
would say, in
Mm-hmm.
terms of my dials. And
Ah.
so I had a nice like checkerboard pattern
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
on the dial, as well as having cutouts.
Like open heart cutouts on the
Insert-
front.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
open
yeah.
heart kind of cut out. So it kind of looked, it was a skeleton, but it was kind of like unorthodox because of my dial being in the place that it was.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then I used the Roman numerals again, but I used all 12 Roman numerals.
I follow.
Yeah. And so I was
Nice.
like, okay, cool. This is better. And then I went with a much smaller case,
Okay.
in a 43. So the first one was a 40. I just had a love for big faces,
Sure. No,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
when I
I
first
mean, like,
started. Yeah.
let's do. What are you wearing on your wrist right now?
I don't have
All
anything
right.
right now, but let
That's
me let me
okay.
just let
That's
me
okay. That's okay. I know you got
this
something
is
back there. The rare
so
prototype.
so this is like one of my favorites right here.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, I like that. What's that?
Yeah.
What's
So
that
yeah.
strap? All
So
right.
this is from the sophomore collection. This is
Okay.
blue. It's blue leather, but it's a lychee pattern. So I kind of wanted to do like an ostrich type of look
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
uh, the pattern of the band.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so I was just like, okay, cool, we could do that, and then I kept it
100%.
leather.
I love it. No,
But
I
yeah,
really like it. I think it looks
yeah,
really
this
nice
is
in the leather because the lugs, that's the main thing that I think for people they're just not they can't wrap their head around. Do you know what I'm saying?
right, right, right. Yeah,
For me, I find it to be very unique and something that I personally like. But I think that for
thank
a
you,
lot of people, I'm saying that with 100% honesty. Like that is so cool,
thank you.
different because there's a lot of conformity in the watch industry, and like I totally understand that. Everyone wants to be the next Rolex, everyone wants to be the next
Yes,
whatever that may be, and not everyone's thinking, "Oh, let me just do my shit." You know what I mean? Let me do my thing, like, and just put that out there. And I don't. It's important to do what you love. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. I met Gio from Gio Watches at the show as well, and he was doing
right, right.
their first piece, which was a quartz diver, and there was like, wait, this is a little weird, but where he's at and what they're doing on the island, it makes sense. That design language and him saying, I make my pieces for myself, that to me really resonated. And
Yeah,
I feel like you can definitely feel that. So,
right.
where have you found most of your support? You obviously said you just started going to watch shows. So,
Yeah.
how have you been going about reaching out to people and showing people what it is that you do?
Man, social media,
Uh huh.
huge. My first show that I went to it was called the Philadelphia Watch Trade Show.
Nice.
And I was just like, you know what? Because at this point, I'm still working, my 9 to 5,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't knock a 9 to 5, I don't knock
Of
it.
course,
But
of course. What's your 9 to 5, if you don't mind me asking?
I was a marketing manager, and
Okay.
what was my title? I had like a business administration title as well
Sure, sure.
for a mental health institution.
Okay, okay,
So yeah,
absolutely.
so it's a
So
nonprofit.
I
Yeah.
see. Well, I mean, that's important work. Hey,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely important work. It's some great people over there.
yeah,
I enjoyed the environment. My
yeah,
coworkers and everything, my boss and everything.
yeah, of
But
course.
like I said, it was too far, and I just wanted to get into watches. Like that was just a
Mm-hmm.
passion of mine. So,
Mm-hmm.
I was praying like, Lord, like I want to do this full time. I don't want to be here
Absolutely,
anymore.
absolutely.
And then the opportunity presented itself with this fair. So I'm like, okay, let me go here and
Yeah,
just give it a shot.
yeah,
And man, it was amazing,
yeah.
man.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was received so well. You saw how my display was.
Yeah.
A lot of people came up to me and were like, "Man, you had the best display here, out of everybody." So that was,
I have to say it was one. It was definitely a standout.
thank you.
Especially in that room too, because like I mean, I get like there's only so much space for those bigger brands and stuff and
Right,
more independent brands versus
right,
micro brands. But the micro brand room for me, I mean, I made the most connections personally, but that's also because it's a different there's a
yeah,
different type of marketing. You know what I mean? They have to do different stuff, but that room was so great. It was so good to
yeah,
see you there. Yeah,
it
100%.
was
Those business
absolutely.
cards, my man. That's a life hack. That's a life hack. I think I'm gonna carry that one forward to my next. Anytime I really want to stand out, I'll bring like the solid lead business card. Like I don't know, like take this home and put it in a box somewhere. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
put this in a keep
And
yourself
that was
safe.
the thing too, is going to these events like that.
Yeah,
That's how I found my connections. Is
yeah.
speaking to like people like you, and
Mhm, mhm.
you make a good impression. Just hearing you, and you just wanted to court. I'm like, absolutely, man. I'm
Yeah,
honored.
yeah.
It's
A
it's
hundred
really an
percent.
honor to have
I
do that.
appreciate
And
that
so
because I don't know how anyone's gonna react. I only been doing this as long as I have. I'm learning. I'm picking things up, and
yeah,
I'm just putting myself out there, and it's so great to be so well received. I feel like the watch community, it feels like it's a very insular community, but it's just, I think, the way that a few people come across, if that makes sense. Like
yes,
a very
that's what it is.
select minority of people acting a very specific type of way about things, which is like, that's not that serious. You know what I mean? We can love watches and
Right.
all love them for different reasons. It is what it is.
Exactly. And it can be like intimidating sometimes because if you come across that individual, or maybe somebody just had a bad day, and they may indirectly take that out on you. It's like, oh man,
And that's the
maybe
internet
I
too,
don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Did you actually have pieces for sale available at Minutes and Hours?
yeah,
How did that go?
yeah. So I'll be honest with you, because I was first of all, it's my first time like
Yeah.
really out on the West Coast, like broadcasting it. I
Hmm.
do a lot of stuff on the East Coast
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
South.
You're because
So the
you're
West, I
Jersey
think it,
based.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Cool, 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 cool.
So on
So,
the West, it's kind of like it was just a different feel for me. So
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
it's much more lax, and you know it's so funny because my personality it goes so much better out on the West Coast than it does on the East Coast. I'm such a laid back, you know, guy.
Sure, 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 sure. I thought you
Yeah,
were
go
from
ahead, go ahead.
California. I thought y'all were from out here. I was like, this is cool.
Yeah, right. And so just really familiarizing myself with people on the West Coast,
Mm,
that was great for me. And so it went well. It went better actually than I initially thought it would. That was my first time you know going to a Minutes and Hours event, and so it was I was received very well out there. I can't even but the thing is too, I think that just based off of my styling and my design,
mm-hmm.
how I do things, I feel like sometimes it comes off as a little bit intimidating. And then,
I
I
could
had
see
a
that.
shirt and tie on,
I can see that. I can see that.
you
Like
know.
maybe people think you're a little bit more about the business than you are. You know what I mean? I could see that. I can see that. But
Right, right.
once they can come up and speak to you like that, that is immediately in
Yeah.
my mind like I didn't find you to be intimidating, but I don't find
Good.
anybody to be intimidating. So it's
Right. There you
that's my mental health thing.
go. Yeah. Right, right.
It is what it is. How do you feel like living in Jersey has shaped your identity? So have you lived in Jersey your whole life?
Yeah. Lived in
Okay.
Jersey my whole life.
Okay, word. So how do you feel like that has kind of shaped your watch influences? Because I don't really know what the scene is like in Jersey, but I know
Right.
in Seattle, you see a lot of just people in the very standard, oh, my work gave this to me after 30 years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like classic, which is I'm pretty sure that's where my dad got his watch from because he's not the type to go out and buy one. So what kind of watches were you seeing when you were younger, like around there, do you think?
So, okay, so where I'm from in Jersey is very much so corporate America because we're so close to New
Ah,
York City.
got
Right.
it.
You have New York City, then in Jersey, you have Jersey City, you have
Mm-hmm.
Newark, that downtown Newark, and you have a lot of big time, Fortune 500 companies.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You have, it's funny because I have a degree in finance. So I worked at E-Trade Financial when I first came
Got
out of
it.
college.
Got
And
it.
so, you have those type of companies and people like that out
Mm-hmm.
here. So there's a good amount of money out here. So people like to, you always see Rolex.
Yep. Okay.
Every now and then you'll see JLC, you'll
Mm-hmm.
see IWC, you'll see a bunch of like big time brands.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so I guess that really shaped, and then as well as my dad, is an attorney, grandfather owned his own optical lab, optical business. So they were business people. My dad wore suits all the time. So I
Mm-hmm.
always saw, those types of watches.
Absolutely.
And so that definitely shaped, being from where I'm from, that definitely shaped, my idea on styling and watches and things like that. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome. I think the funny thing for me is I grew up in Seattle and
Okay.
big tech,
Hmm.
Microsoft, Amazon. So for me, I think seeing like those a lot of more sleeker watches, seeing a lot more of the
Okay.
Bauhaus style, a lot more of the thinner profile. And to be honest,
Right.
whenever I would see somebody wearing a Rolex, I would just assume it was fake.
Really?
And that was just from my perspective living in
Wow.
uh, even in a relatively affluent neighborhood, like growing up thinking, why would you? We're in Seattle, like it's raining, you're wearing a coat, can't even see your watch 50% of the time. And I never really even understood growing up why I would wear a watch, which feels
Okay.
so silly being an adult now, living somewhere where the weather is normal. Oh yeah, actually, this is quite practical. But also wearing a
Exactly.
watch, realizing like what it is I actually need. It
Right.
just changed completely as I've grown into being, I guess, what we call an adult at this point.
Yeah.
We'll call us an adult. You know, we're secure in that. Um,
Right.
I wanted to talk about your new GMT though. That thing is
Yes.
crazy, dude. I love it. I
Thank
really love the dial. You're doing it in gold right now, right? Or is it?
right.
Okay.
So it's stainless,
Okay.
gold plated though. Yeah.
Got it. Dude, you had it at the show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
got to be my
So
favorite
I
piece.
remember it specifically. You pointed at that one. Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, that is a banger. When it is
Thank.
it releasing now or is
So
it
right
already
now
released?
right now it's up for pre-order.
Okay, word.
It's set to begin production in September.
Cool. cool. Okay.
Trying to get everything, if all works out, there's no hiccups in,
Yeah.
in the manufacturing process. I want it to be out like right before the Christmas season. So, you
Ideally,
get
yeah.
it as your Christmas gift, to yourself. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Christmas gift to yourself. That's what we love to hear. Absolutely. So, like,
Right.
I would love to know some kind of more, call it fun facts, stuff that people might not think about making watches. Like, how many phases of prototyping would you say you went through to an actual models would you say you made for this upcoming GMT? Because I'm curious about that.
Really? I just had one round of prototypes.
Wow.
I got, yeah. There were some things that I did want to change on
Of
it,
course.
which I made note of it. But other than that, I guess just because of who I am, I see it. Once I have my design, my styling, I show them, then they give me my prototype back. I take note of everything I need to take note of,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm like, okay, it's good.
Yep.
As long as you understand what I'm saying and
Yeah.
you get what I'm trying to do,
100%.
we should be good to go. Yeah.
100%. That's awesome. Having confidence in giving them the good
Right.
diagram. That's hard.
You
I
have
know
to
that.
be very, you have to be, detail oriented. You can't expect them to know what you're thinking.
100%.
You have to,
Yeah.
because whatever you tell them is what they're going to do.
Yeah, and I was
And so
watching.
it's all on you.
It's expensive to prototype a watch.
It is.
Absolutely.
It is.
100%.
Yeah.
That's really incredible, though. I'm so excited to see it. Fingers crossed that there's no hiccups. You guys are not rocking anything from Switzerland, right? Have the tariffs impacted
No.
you at all? Or?
So, yeah, well, it
Yeah,
has impacted just overall the
sure.
tariff.
Yeah.
But that right there, the Switzerland tariffs,
Yeah,
that's
because
a
it's the hot
little,
topic right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, everyone's talking
yeah,
about that shit, especially with the Rolexes
yeah.
and, I mean,
Oh my
everything from
gosh.
Switzerland. But
And you know what I said? Because I told a colleague of mine, I was like, you know what? I think that this, and you don't pray for anyone's downfall. You don't want to see anyone doing bad. But if
100%.
they don't make out a deal, that might mean a nice push for us, micro brands and
100%.
independent.
Is there anything else that you specifically wanted to talk about with Verdure, though? Because, I mean, I don't want to hold you up for too long.
So one thing I do want to bring up,
Yeah.
I just started. It's called the Verdure Bespoke Experience. What I do is I now work with, say you and I, you inquire, I want a custom piece made.
Mm-hmm.
I want something that no one else in the world has. Cool, let's work. And so I would, depending on our, where we are, in the world, whether it would be a face-to-face meetup or something like this,
Mm-hmm.
we would have a conversation, just, conversation one-on-one,
Mm-hmm.
asking you what you like, what are the specific things that you want to see in your piece? What type of piece do you want? And then I also ask questions just about your personality, or what you like to do, your hobbies, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And all this, everything, I'm just taking notes, jotting everything down,
Mm-hmm.
even maybe drawing just a couple little things, quick
Yeah,
things,
yeah,
just to,
yeah.
show. And so after that, then I go to my workroom. I get my sketches out. I sketch all my stuff. Then I would turn that into a 3D model. And so I was presented to you. Hey, what do you think about this? You would give the yes or no. If no, then we go back to the drawing board. If yes, okay, great. So now we can go to the production phase. And even before then, so I'm working on this thing where I would use augmented reality,
Ah,
and you would have an app, and once I would put that in the
that's
app,
cool.
the
Yeah.
3D model, you could just download the app,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
attachment
mean,
erase
that
and see
software
how it
exists. It's
looks.
great. That's a really good idea. So, like, if you don't mind me asking, what would the price range on something kind of like that sort of be?
So, okay, so in order to not waste each other's
Of
time, if
course.
you're serious about it, the first consultation would be about $2,000.
Mm-hmm.
However, that would be credited to the final project,
For
right?
sure. For
And
sure.
so, depending on what you want, your materials, if it's precious metals, if it's 316, if it's whatever,
Right. Right.
we work there, and we can go forward and make the production. So to give you a specific number, I can't really
No, that
judge,
totally makes
but
sense. That totally makes sense.
so
But
it
you
really
know,
depends on what you want.
of course, of course. I mean,
Yeah,
it sounds fun.
yeah,
And for anybody who's looking to get bespoke design services, I mean, I feel like that's got to be right in the ballpark. I mean, I can't imagine, especially for watches, you're not going
yeah.
to find someone willing to go out there and do that for you either, unless you're willing to do it yourself. So, I mean,
I
that's
think
awesome.
that's kind of what separates me apart a little bit, because a lot of brands, you deal with design teams. Really,
Definitely,
here at
definitely.
Verdure, it's just me. I,
Yeah.
I am the design team. So,
100%.
I really love it. Art is my
Yeah.
thing, and it's a thing for me. Like this is wearable art, so it's from my brain
Exactly.
to your wrist. And
Exactly. Exactly.
that's what makes it special.
100%. Dude,
Yeah,
thank you so much for talking to me. I really appreciate it. You've been
absolutely.
super dope. I hope you could hear me clearly. I hope you can see me
Yeah.
clearly and everything was, because your camera looks amazing, man. I don't know if you're on a laptop or
Oh,
what,
cool.
but it looks fire. Thank you again. Virtual
Absolutely.
handshake. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Virtual handshake.
I remember that great handshake from you over there at the show. But thanks again.